Welcome to Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Weldin. Today's episode is called The Silent War for the Open Door, an adaptation of a Pakistani folktale written for you by Daniel Hinds. Thanks! Enjoy the episode. The Silent War for the Open Door. Once upon a time, when Pakistan was young, a poor couple sat together by the fire. They were farmers, and their names were Adeena and Hassan. They had been married many decades, and while Pakistan may have been young, Adeena and Hassan were quite the opposite. They were old. Too old to be working their fields, truth be told, but they worked them all the same. They slaved away, bathing in the unwavering heat of the sun, tending their crops. At night, the day's hard labor finished, they would ease themselves into their chairs, serenaded by a choir of their bodies' pops and groans and cracks. When they finally sat, close to the gentle heat of the fire but closer still to each other, they felt that all was right with the world. So, when the wind blew the front door open with a resounding wha-bang, it was only natural that they argued about who should close it.
"Wife, darling wife,"
said Hassan, comfy in his chair.
"Please, won't you shut the door?"
Adeena looked from the door to her husband and nestled down a little further into her own chair. "Husband, can't you do it yourself? I'm so tired I don't know if I'll survive getting up."
"Wife, lovely wife, my knee is acting up again. Can't you please shut the door?"
"I would, but I think I pulled my back today. Please, do me a favor and go shut the door."
"Adeena, is that you? I'm so tired, so weak. Would you please shut the door?"
Adeena laughed and shook her head stubbornly. "All you do is talk. How about this? The next one who speaks has to close the door." Now, Adeena was stubborn, but she wasn't half as stubborn as Hassan. The old husband quickly agreed to the bet, and there they sat, door flapping open, silence between them, until it was time for bed. Even then, they both remained quiet. They eyed each other with little smirks, daring each other to give up first. Silently, stubbornly, they climbed into bed and fell asleep, front door open to the world. Of course, they were woken up in the night by growls and clattering. They stumbled from their bed. They were frightened and angry, but still very careful to be absolutely silent. The silence was very hard to maintain, though, because in the kitchen they found a savage, wild dog. Adeena wanted to scream, but stopped herself at the last moment. Hassan nearly shouted, but clapped his hand over his mouth just in time. The dog had knocked over their small bin of food and was eating it. The shaggy beast devoured entire meals with each smacking, slobbery bite. They watched in horror as he shredded everything they had to eat, pieces flying, crumbs raining down. Of course, the dog could have been scared off by a simple yell, or better yet, a closed front door, but Adeena and Hassan still wanted to win the bet. So, silently, they let the wild dog finish their food and disappear again into the night. Once the dog was gone, they looked at each other long and hard. They were both standing, both just a few feet from the door, but stubborn as they were, neither would close it. The contest continued all night, and the open door caused many inconveniences. Hassan and Adeena stayed stubborn and refused to speak, but they both had lots to say in their heads. "I do the sewing and the seeding, and it is forever seeming that I must be the one to do what must be done. But if I close the door, will he expect that it is always me who has to do the chore, who has to be a bore? No, not this go round. I won't be giving up my ground. This time I get a rest, I'm sure I'll do it next time. Next time. I'm sure I'll do it next time. The problem is a shared concern. I'm pretty sure it's not my turn. I think it's for the best. I'm waiting till the next time. Each day at work I slave away, and I don't think it's wrong to say that these old bones of mine no longer quite align. And if I close the door, will she expect that it is always me who has to do the task, who always does as asked? No, not this go round. I won't be giving up my ground. This time I get a rest. I'm sure I'll do it next time. Next time, next time. I'm sure I'll do it next time. The problem is a shared concern. I'm pretty sure it's not my turn. I think it's for the best. I'm waiting till the next time. The problem is a shared concern. I'm pretty sure it's not my turn. I think it's for the best. I'm waiting till the next time. The next morning, Adeena took their basket to the market to get more food, while Hassan stayed home and waited for his friend to arrive. His friend was a barber, and Hassan had asked him to stop by and give him a haircut. He didn't get his hair cut often. He preferred it thick and long like his beard, but he was overdue. When the barber arrived, Hassan greeted him with a friendly wave. Even though it was the next day, even though a dog had stolen their food, he still deeply wanted to win the bet.
"All right,"
said the barber, settling a cloth around Hassan's shoulders.
"You just tell me when you want to stop."
Hassan froze as the barber began cutting, tufts of hair raining on his shoulders and pooling in his lap. How could he tell the barber to stop without speaking? He thought desperately, every snick, snick, snick of the scissors making his heart pound. The barber was a friend. He wouldn't tell if Hassan spoke just a little, just to him, right? Hassan decided to take the chance. He opened his mouth to speak, and that's when Adeena came home, carrying her basket of food. It was heavy with goat and rice and chapati and brightly colored curries. She smiled at Hassan as she came through the door. Of course, she didn't close the door behind her. The barber called out hello and returned to the haircut. Adeena waved and then watched as Hassan's hair got shorter and shorter and shorter. Soon he had nothing more than a thin fuzz along his tanned scalp. He wanted to stop it, but he saw Adeena was shaking with laughter. She was red from holding it in, her entire body quivering. He could outlast her.
"Short as I can go without a shave," said the barber. "Should I stop now?"
"Yes, of course. Stop, stop, stop!" Hassan wanted to shout, but he wouldn't let Adeena win. She was so close to laughing. Hassan, stubborn as always, decided that he would be shaved before he'd lose this bet. And shaved he was. The barber started with the top, shaving away until his head was bald and shiny. When Hassan didn't protest, he went on to the beard. It came away in thick, goat-like tufts. Hassan and Adeena both nearly cried, Hassan for his beard and Adeena with laughter. Finally, when the barber shaved off Hassan's left eyebrow, Adeena couldn't take it any longer. She started laughing. She laughed so hard she had to lean on the counter. She laughed so hard she could barely speak, but finally, she managed to wheeze out the words, "You look ridiculous!" "Aha!" cried Hassan, leaping up from his chair and scaring the barber half to death. "I've won the bet! You have to close the door." The barber looked at the husband and wife, him shouting and her laughing herself onto the floor. Confused and eager to leave, he threw his things into his bag and fled into the night. "You scared away the barber!" laughed Adeena. "Admit it, I won!" Hassan said, sitting back down, one remaining eyebrow raised in defiance. Adeena closed the door, still laughing. All right, she said, locking the door so it wouldn't blow open again. You won. Hassan, bald and smiling, nestled deeply into his chair. Adeena sat beside him. You look very silly with your hair all gone, she said to her husband with a smile on her face.
Yes, I can imagine. It feels very strange,
Hassan replied, running his hands over his bald head and face. Next time, I think we should both be a little less stubborn, Adeena said thoughtfully. We are husband and wife. We are on the same team. We've been acting like opponents. But there were no winners here, only losers. She looked pointedly at his shining head.
You are right, my dear. Let's remember this next time.
They drew close to the gentle heat of the fire, but closer still to each other, and somehow they knew that all was right with the world. The end. Thanks for listening!